No. Now we are live. What's going on, guys?
Got it.
I'm here with Keezy. We are live. And dude, thank you for dealing with me. This is like the first time I'm actually using StreamYard, so
it's all
I'm
good.
kind of an idiot.
I might have the echo real quick because I'm gonna.
Dealing with me. This is. Oof. Okay. If we're echoing or there's like some kind of issue, chat, just let us know and we'll try.
All right. No, it's good. I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Issue, chat, just let us know.
Whoa, buddy. Whoa. Okay, don't do that. All right. Got it. For sure.
We're good?
Yeah, I had it on my phone too. It just started playing. I'm like, what the hell?
All right. So Keezy, thanks for joining me. I mean, like literally, if anybody's unfamiliar, can you tell them a little bit about who you are, what you do on YouTube, what your situation is?
Yeah. I do like streetwear content, not necessarily like designer fashion, but more so streetwear. And if I do talk about designer fashion, it is the street aspect of it and not necessarily like, you know, the higher end designer, whatever you want to call it. Mixed in with a little bit of sneaker content and regular shit, man. Like it's you know, it's nothing too crazy, really. You know, I try to cover brands that, you know, don't always get the best light. You know, here we are 15 years later talking about brands that were popular back then. So that's kind of the basis of it.
Yeah, I mean, like that. I think that's kind of one of the most interesting parts about your channel is you're talking about. It feels like there's a lot of history of streetwear. Is that just because that's when you first kind of got into it, or what's the impetus behind like why are you not just talking about like Supreme or like Palace or whatever?
Yeah, I would actually talk about Supreme, but I never wore it.
Yeah,
and I was never into it. I never understood. I like understood it, but never. By the time I understood the popularity, it was all about the BOGO in like 2016 or something like that. And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys lining up for this bullshit for? Like, this is bullshit, you know. And I sound like a hater, but like I didn't understand it because I jumped back into clothing. But anyways, I cover that stuff because yeah, that's kind of what got me into it. I got introduced to all this like streetwear shit. The minute Bape kind of went worldwide, like it went everywhere, and it was just so hard to get. And as a kid, I got super obsessed with it, and I could never have it until years and years and years later, just buying it here and there. And then now being older now, I can actually buy into it, and it's you know, I just had been introduced to it then, loved it, and still love it now. And you know, I think by a couple of years ago, I had like changed my style to what was like more trending and whatever. And then I realized I'm like, why am I even buying this shit? I should be buying the shit that I couldn't buy when I was younger. So you know, now that's where we are now. So
that's basically how we found ourselves here. Well, I mean, like I honestly I think that's kind of like the interesting part about your channel. It's just it feels like. And maybe I need to do a deeper dive, but there's like so much streetwear content, and a lot of it is just like, revolves around like hype. And what you kind of diverge from that is not only kind of talking about like the stuff that you actually want to wear or the stuff that's been interesting to you for years. There's just like I don't want to say more sophisticated element to it, but there's just like a more like curious element. Like you're really interested in, or at least talking about like these trends that are in the past, or like how they might have influenced like current day.
Yeah.
And I mean, like one question I'd have would be like, do you feel like, is there any part of you that's like, maybe I should make it more hyped, maybe I should make it like more broad appeal, just so like your subscriber count just starts going up?
Yeah, but it's only if I have an interest in it, right? You can't. It's really hard to talk about something if you don't have interest. You know, the audience is gonna know, right?
Sure.
If I all of a sudden just like came out with like a Supreme history video, which there's already like 1 million on YouTube, you could probably feel my energy on it. In fact, at the end of the video, I would probably tell the audience that I don't even wear Supreme. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, why would I, you know, go down that route, you know? But what about you? Because I mean, your story is pretty interesting too. I think I've seen some of your like older. You made a video about like your past cringy
Yeah,
outfits and stuff, and you were actually into like Supreme and stuff back then.
totally. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, like, the truth be told, I was never a skater, but my brother was, and I kind of feel like that's when I first started to pay attention to streetwear. And um, I lived in New York, obviously, basically up until the pandemic. And so that I just had kind of an interest in it because I had loved fashion. Like I was just super interested in fashion since I was a teenager. And then like when Supreme started to really come up, I feel like in the 2010s, like when it was becoming like a global brand, so to speak. I was just kind of interested in participating in it. And like living in New York and like kind of working in Lower Manhattan, you know, you just meet people who are involved with Supreme or who are obsessed with it. There's like it's an element of the
it's
culture.
everywhere. Yeah, no,
And so I was just like, I guess like everyone else, I had kind of an interest in the pieces and copying it and whatever. And I mean, the truth be told, I really don't cover Supreme. I don't really talk about it, but I wouldn't knock their designs. A lot of their designs that aren't just like a BOGO are they're fairly interesting. Like I think they make interesting like streetwear pieces.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
but
I'm not I'm not knocking it. And in fact, I give them the utmost credit for what they've done. In fact, they're probably the GOAT. Not, I mean, in most eyes, they're the GOAT. But
yeah,
I think it's Bape over Supreme in my eyes. But still, I'm not here to debate. But but a lot of the stuff they come out with though is like the accessories and stuff. I can have appreciation for a lot of that stuff.
yeah, and I mean maybe one day I'll do a video kind of talking about it. Like in the same way, it's like, do I really need to talk about Supreme? Are there other people who will? But you know, I think that now they're kind of on the downward slope in terms of high popularity, and maybe it's going to be interesting to revisit that brand in the future.
I got killed for saying that.
Yeah,
I made a video, and you know sometimes the video that you're like, this is gonna do like shit, and it ends up doing really well.
it's like what the hell?
Yeah, you know, you're like, this is a fuck video, you know, this is nothing. And the title was brands I'm seeing less of,
Yeah,
and I put Supreme on there, and because that's just what I'm seeing less of. You know, like there's
totally.
less people wearing BOGOs, there's less people wearing the Supreme North Face jackets, less people wearing just Supreme in general, fanny packs, all that shit. You know, so
Yeah,
and I got hella like not DMs but comments that were like, "Bro, it'll
of
never
course.
die." Da, 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 da. I'm like, bro, like you sound like
Chill
a
out, dude.
are trying to defend this shit right now. I don't really care. I'm just telling you what I haven't seen. All right.
Yeah, and it's like you can't tie your personality to a brand, or you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, and I feel like, at least from my perspective, like when I first moved to New York, like the Lafayette store, Supreme's original store, I mean, you could walk in on any day of the week. You could walk in, and like a few years back, like maybe 2 years ago, it reached that point where like Supreme became like a tourist destination. Like every day there were lines
That was
in
like
front of Supreme.
2017, probably 2018.
Yeah, like around then, and it just kind of felt like there was like a sea change, at least in the people who I hung out with in Manhattan, where they were like kind of feeling like, you know, not like disavowing Supreme, but it was no longer. It just kind of felt like not in their wheelhouse anymore. Nobody was really caring about it. The people who
Yeah,
really cared about streetwear and fashion,
yeah.
but you know, I don't know. I mean, it's not necessarily my forte, and I think like in my cringe video, I basically talk about how like I mean, I still have Supreme pieces. I've sold most of it, but I think thought that like doing something hyped would put me on, and it just is so stupid. You
Well,
can't
I mean,
do.
that's what it look. So we had never seen anything. Okay, hold on. So the
Okay.
way Supreme bubbled in 2016, 17, and 18 is the same exact way Bape went nuts in like
Yeah.
2000 and like 5, 6, right? After Kanye, Pharrell, all the shit went
Totally.
crazy. The biggest difference though is that you couldn't buy Bape here. If you lived in Japan, people were wearing the shit was like Old Navy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was everywhere, right? And it just went crazy. No different than how Supreme is here. So that was the biggest difference. But Supreme when Supreme went stupid, like everybody, like, a good way to look at the like the forecast, like streetwear forecast. Like, let me be your weatherman real quick. Like, you look at what the new bubble, like the new brands are trying to do. The new brands that don't know what they're doing are trying to do, right? They're all at the time, 2016, 17, 18. What did they all try to do? They tried to make a BOGO. They tried to take their logo and put it on a BOGO, and it's like, this is my brand. It's like, no, that's Supreme, and that's your brand, right? But now what's going on in 2020 is everyone's trying to remake the Jordans. That's like, that came in replacement of the Supreme BOGO, right? So, I mean, no matter what it is, you know, no matter what year it is, there's always going to be something that's hot for the moment, and it's just so influential that you know, people just, they don't think about other things like, how can I make this different? They just, this shit is selling. Oh, you want this? Okay, for sure.
And then I'm gonna copy it.
Like, I'm gonna sell it, right?
Speaking of Jordans, actually, something I wanted to ask you about is this. So, like, one of your most popular videos on your channel is you were looking at the replica Jordans, and then you like went into like a sneaker shop. So, like, my question is kind of like, what is your thought about replicas? Like, whether it's like garments or sneakers, what made you want to make that video?
So when I first started my channel, I didn't know what, obviously it's not the same topics as now. When I first started, it was like, I got on YouTube and I saw, you know, when people on YouTube, they make the Adobe Illustrator how-tos. How to design this logo. I'm like, oh, for sure, these motherfuckers pulling in 100,000 views. Bro, I know how to use Adobe Illustrator. Fuck you mean? So I was like, all right, for sure, we're going to make this. I made like 4 or 5 of those. I'm like, man, this shit sucks, right? I didn't understand that you'd have to do it for a long time. So like, I trashed that idea. And I was like, well, I like clothes. And I had a bunch of Jordan 1s and whatever. And then I was like looking through sneaker channels, and they make the customs. And I was like, oh, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make customs. So I bought the customs, started doing that. I was like, fuck, I'm spending hella money. I can't do this. So I trashed that idea. Then I saw the fake versus real shit. And I'm like, oh, so what if I just take the shoe? I was like, all right, for sure. Bring the shoe in. I'll just talk about it, whatever. And then that video happened way later, like probably like a year into it, maybe like 6-7 months into it. And and then this shit just, again, another video where you're like, I don't know if it's going to really do that well. And that one didn't pop right away. That one still just kind of goes, because especially after that Michael Jordan documentary, after that, people started researching Chicago 1 and all this. Is like, you know, it just keeps going. So, yeah.
So, I mean, like, on that note, you're talking about like when you started, you wanted to try like a bunch of different things. So, and I know that you've made like more than one video about like what I would consider like maybe like the archive fashion or like high fashion YouTubers. Where do you think you fit in? What would you categorize yourself as?
Like, I'm stuck in the 2000s.
Yeah.
I haven't left. And in fact, if I think about it, even by 2010, when we were in 2010, I was still stuck in the 2000s, because everyone already was way moved on to wearing hella skinny jeans, checkerboard fucking skinny jeans, and really tight t-shirts that like come up to here with like Goodwood jeans and shit. And I'm like, this shit looks really like, I was still stuck on wearing baggy clothes. And it took a long time for me not to wear baggy clothes, man. Holy shit. It felt real feminine at the time. And I didn't want to wear it. But yeah, I think that's where I fit. As far as like streetwear goes, like I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm biting my words on this, I'm pretty sure I probably won't, I guess they say, elevate to like designer fashion. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I think right now, the mentality of a lot of people that are getting into clothing is that you have to constantly level up, right? Yeah. Not only do I gotta have the best sneakers, I gotta have the best fit, I gotta have the best whatever, but not only that, I gotta move up per brand. Oh, you got the Louis, I got the fucking, I don't know what's above Louis. I don't even fucking know. Right?
I don't know. Like,
exactly. Right? Who knows? You got YSL, I got Balenciaga, like, you know, or whatever that case is. Like, I don't. If I like it, I'll buy into it if it's designer fashion. But on that regard, I'm not gonna get up on camera and fake it for everyone and be like, yeah, like, I've been into rap. No, I haven't been into rap.
Yeah.
I know nothing about rap. I just know the fucking bomber.
Exactly. The one bomber.
The one bomber and the Consume Shark hoodie.
Yeah.
that to me is I don't even like that hoodie.
Honestly, I think for me, my issue was, at least when I started to try to like do Instagram or like create content, is I thought I needed to make stuff not about like what I liked, but like what people would like.
Yeah.
And it never took off. It never took off that way. And it only started to get better when I was like, well, what have I cared about for like the last like 5-10 years? Just start talking about that. Eventually your in crowd will follow.
Yeah.
So like,
Wait,
and
hold on, hold that thought. I gotta turn
what?
the air on real quick in here because it's like 90 degrees in here. Hold on, give me a second.
Let me see what's going on with the live stream. What are you guys talking about? Chrome Hearts is God tier? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. That Chrome Hearts is like a brand that they had an aesthetic, they had an identity, they had like a consumer base in LA, and then it started to become like a hype brand. But I don't know. I mean, do you think full-blown trends are still a thing in the age of archive vintage? Yeah, I do. I think that maybe even more so, like full-blown trends, just because like the internet has made the passage of trends so much faster, and there's kind of a scary thing where a lot of fashion might become more and more homogenous on social media because people are just trying to copy what they see, and I don't know.
All right, my bad.
No problem. I was just talking to myself.
Oh, also, you asked earlier, and you asked me what I think about replicas and whatever, because that's why you asked about that. I kind of stated in a couple of videos, I probably should make more content and talk about it, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, and I think it's a little contradicting to say that I don't care sometimes because I have a channel talking about other people's fits all day. Right? But I honestly don't care because it's not my money. You can spend your money however you want it, and I think that no matter what you buy, it's just not my money.
Yeah.
And also, it's gonna keep going regardless. It's just not going to stop.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop.
It's kind of huge. I mean,
it's really big. It's almost as big as people buying real shit.
Just so it's like nuts. I mean, like if you were like, I don't know, hanging out with people and you saw a kid or somebody and he's talking to you and he's wearing Jordan 1s and they could be like AAA or whatever, but they're fake. And I don't know, would you judge him at all? Like maybe you know that they're fake just because the like colorway is just too rare.
Here's another thing too, like back like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, sneakers did not cost this much. No. Sneakers, like, bruh, it's ridiculous. Even the fakes cost a lot of money if you think about it too, right?
Yeah, it'd be like $200.
That's what I'm saying. That's retail, right? Compared to paying like $2,000, which is a lot better. But again, sneakers back then didn't cost that much, and everyone is so caught in the merry-go-round of not even sneakers, just clothing too. The fake clothing that they come out with as well. Like everyone's so caught up in that of what's happening now, the prices that are happening now, they totally forgot that this shit it's not supposed to cost this much, right? So the actual repercussion of the prices is people are gonna buy fake shit. They're like, bro, people are not as invested into fashion as these other people on the internet are. They're just not. They don't care. The everyday Joe, they're like, oh, I do like those Jordan. I never bought a pair of Jordans. How much those cost? Oh, they're $3,000. Oh, how much is the fake one? 150. It looks yeah, for sure. Let me get that one. Like, I don't care, you know. So
yeah, I think like I don't know if I'm like projecting, but I feel like when I was in Brooklyn, I would see people who I feel like would qualify. Like there weren't like, oh, I can tell this guy's really into fashion and those are legit. They would just wear like sneakers or pieces that I knew were really, really expensive, and the rest of their outfit was kind of like whatever. And it just made me think like, well, those could be fakes, and he doesn't care, and maybe it doesn't matter. Like the like when the Triple S was really big, you know, and I would see people with those, and they look like they're real, but I just don't know if that guy really spent $1,000 on those sneakers.
Yeah.
it's kind of an interesting element. I don't know.
It's
Uh,
I think where it opened my like perspective is that when I went to China, and I've told the story a couple of times, but when I went to China, like Beijing, China, and asked some of the locals like what they thought about it, it's like the mentality is completely different because here in America we have such um, a need to tell other people that their shit is fake,
yeah,
and their shit is weak and their fit. Let's not even talk about fake versus real. We are so obsessed with telling each other that your fit sucks.
yeah,
We cannot wait to tell you and post about how trash you are. Right?
yeah,
It's so much easier to tell someone how trash they are. Actually, no, it's as easy to tell someone as they're trash and or they're great, but people are so gravitate so much quicker to say that someone is trash, right? And
yeah,
in the culture when I was in China, it was more like the community, like as cities and as a I guess communist China, they're so much more invested in being like one as a country that the people don't have that attitude towards each other, and they understand that everything is made there, like down the block.
yeah,
So they're like, oh, you just got it from factory A, and I got mine from factory fucking B. So
yeah. Who
there's
cares?
no like hate there. But you come back here, everyone is, bruh, like they'll make a whole meme page out of you. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense just because America is so much more focused on individualism and like, individual success. And so of course what plays into that is like, do you have like style? Do you have taste? Are you like cool enough? Are you rich enough to do this XYZ?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not a mentality about like, I mean, the People's Republic altogether.
Yeah.
Um, so you were early talking about something that I had the same thing. Like I'll release a video, I'm like, this is trash. I don't even know why I'm releasing this, and it'll do really well. And then honestly, for me, sometimes I'll be like, this is a great video. I think this is pretty good, and then it won't perform, and I'm like, what's going on? Like,
It'll
why
be,
do you?
it'll be like the same exact titling as the one that did well too, and then you post. It's like, what the fuck? Like, all right, bro.
And then it like
Someone back there pressing buttons, man.
yeah, exactly. They're like, yes, no. And I'll change around the thumbnails too. And I'm like, will this make it better? But so my question is, like, do you have a video that you think was really good but just never got the audience?
Uh there's so many.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, hard to say. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I made I think I'm over 300 something, 350 or 400 videos at this point. I don't even know. My brain
That's
is.
wild.
I'm to a point now where I post something, and the day of, I'm like, oh yeah, I posted that. I fucking forgot.
So, I mean, like, how do you keep up with that schedule then? If you have, I think last time I saw your channel, it was like something like 300. So how do you manage to get that content out along with, I assume, having a normal life?
300. You found my channel at 300. Holy shit.
No. Hold on. Let me see. Oh no, we have an echo, I think. Hold on. It's probably me.
Hold on, let me post a live. I didn't even post it. My bad. Cool.
That's not bad. That's whatever. No, you right now I'm looking at your channel. You have 274 videos.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I thought I had over 300. Yeah, I guess there's two. I think I deleted some. I privated a lot of them.
Probably.
Don't do that, by the way. I mean, well, do it. Plan it out. Don't do what I did.
Yeah. Which was
If
what?
the algorithm is working for you, don't private shit.
Yeah.
Don't touch it. Don't. It's just don't drop that shit. Like.
I know. I mean, like, I basically talked about that in my video. I'm like, just be, authentic. Don't try to hide what you did.
Well.
Why? Well,
Yeah.
what's your story? Why did you hide all those videos?
Some of them just they don't add to the channel. It has nothing to do with the channel, right? And it's kind of like you walk into an Italian restaurant and all of a sudden you flip through the menu and you get to the back and there's Chinese cuisine.
Yeah.
I'd be like, huh? Like
They don't.
I fuck with the spaghetti, but the chow fun and the chow. No, I don't know, man. That sounds weird. And I can't lie. I've had sushi at an Italian restaurant. It was terrible. Uh, not to go further on that analogy. Like it's the same thing with a channel, right? You don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to dig so deep where you're like, what the fuck? You went from like. I mean, it's great to kind of know because I left a lot of old. I still have my first video up there. But some of the ones I posted, I'm like, yeah, this ain't got shit to do with nothing. So I'm letting this one go for sure. You know.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like one of the channels that I love on YouTube has nothing to do with fashion, but Vsauce, he does like science videos.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back, like he started making videos like maybe over a decade ago. But if you go back, the old content is so like off the wall and different from what his channel got famous for that it's almost kind of bizarre. You're like, is this the same person? Why were you making a video about like 10 most epic video game fails? And then like now today you're talking about like quantum physics or something.
Yeah. See what I'm saying?
I mean, like, there's a part of me that thinks it's really cool that at least I can go back and say like, oh, so like you gotta just work through this. You just gotta create content and see what works. But if you go into a restaurant and they have two different types of cuisines that have nothing to do with each other, you're probably gonna think they're not good at anything. Then, you know.
Yeah, that
But
too. That too. Yeah.
um, oh, I had a thought. Now I'm losing it.
No.
No, this is what I was thinking. So, like, when did your channel start to kind of pick up momentum?
Um. Like considerable, probably the last couple months. Honestly, I don't even.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing this now for 3 years. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3. It's like I think YouTube says 2, but I don't think it's 2 because I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been tripping. I've been overthinking some shit, but I'm pretty sure it's 3. But yeah, I'm pretty sure in the last couple months, considerable worth talking about. Probably the last like 4 or 5 months. Yeah, it's relatively new because like I think my grind on YouTube, like again, I don't make like prank videos or anything like that. We don't do like bringing the product for reaction of girlfriend type.
Yeah.
I don't really do those, and so my grind is so much slower than everybody else's. Like, I mean, look at all the newer channels. I mean, even your channel's growing really fast too. Like you've grown a lot quicker than I was in the beginning. And then like FHTV, he's going stupid right now. He's growing fast. There's a couple more. Is it Karsten? Yeah, Karsten's growing fast.
Karsten.
Yeah, all the meme pages, they're gonna go fucking far. Like
they already have the audience.
Yeah, they already had the Instagram audience, which already watches YouTube anyway, so their transfer over is going to be super easy. Like I mean, I already told you what happened to me in the beginning. I just started like, I don't fucking know what I'm doing, dude. Like,
yeah,
post some shit and make something happen, and something might go,
But like, does that make you? I don't want to say like, does it make you bitter? But like when you see like FHTV, I mean, he makes good videos and people seem engaged. But is there a part of you that's like, God damn it, why isn't that my channel?
In the beginning, yeah, kind of, but I mean, I don't think it doesn't really matter. There's going to be someone that does it better than you, and I would rather be in this position than to be in that position. I would rather have my channel grind really. I was talking to Alex Zavalos about this, or someone else too, but I would rather have my shit grow slower than to have it like, you feel me? Because just imagine, next week, you had 300,000 subs. Like, are you even prepared to have that?
Yeah.
My answer is no. My answer is no. I wouldn't. I mean, I would think I would know what to do, and I would give it a shot because it's already there. But to be honest, I don't think so.
Well, I actually have a really great like hypothetical for you, and I want to ask it while we still got people watching. So here's a hypothetical. Let's say you did get 300,000 subscribers or whatever, but more importantly, let's imagine this hypothetical. You are given unlimited resources. So like, let's say like a blank check literally, and maybe you're partnered with like the best PR team, like they have connections to anyone and everything, what would be the one video that you would create with that kind of like resources? What would be the content that you would make?
Anything is unlimited.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm a blank check. I mean, like probably not like $40 billion, but you know, basically, if they were going to use that kind of budget to
Or
make like
just
an
like,
HBO
like
show,
possibilities are limitless, right?
yeah,
Okay, I have an answer for this. I want to use copyrighted songs.
yeah,
I want to use as many copyrighted songs as I want. It doesn't matter how many on one video, on 1,000. I want to use all, because there's so much content that I would make if I can use copyrighted music. I would pay for it. I pay $5 a song. I'll give you $5 a song. Even if I use 50 songs on a video, I would pay to have that video up and not even collect monetization. But they delete your shit, and they give you a strike, and I don't even want to deal with it. I already made a couple of videos back then that have a lot of. I made like the Bay Area history video that has over 50 copyrighted songs. I don't even know how they left it up. It's still up right now. But I tried again, and I put 91. I put 91 copyrighted songs on a video, and I uploaded it, and they just automatically. It was like 91 claims, and at the end it was like, your video's deleted.
but okay. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, so it was, yeah. Anyways, but if I were to have any, I wouldn't. The money doesn't. I mean, I guess you can buy expensive things and show it off on the channel. That's easy viewership, right? I guess you can do that off the top of my head. But if I were to have anything unlimited, it would be that copyrighted music, so I can make content that it hits so much harder when you can hear the fucking music instead of me having to get up on camera and talk about it and use someone's lame instrumental. This is stupid. So.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. Sometimes, like when I'm thinking about videos, or I'm like thinking about like I guess jokes, plot points, whatever. I'm like, there's often a song that I want to use, for whatever reason, and not being able to like make that kind of reference.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, it would be fair use. These different things often can be fair use. YouTube is just it's a program that finds everything, so it'll just say, oh, I heard that song for a second. I assume you're trying to pirate it or whatever the hell.
Yeah, a bigger reason why I started Patreon too is because you can use copyrighted songs, and the way around it is that you upload. So let's just say you make the video, you upload the video to Google Drive, and because Google Drive doesn't give a shit, right? It's just a link, and then you post that link onto the Patreon, and then people can watch it that way. But I'm working my way to make those videos, but again, it is what it is, man. YouTube is it's like a legal playground.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy sometimes how much like YouTube should theoretically be like no censorship in essence. Like if you imagine content, you can make it. There isn't a TV studio or anything. It's up to you. But there's that irony where sometimes it feels like people making YouTube videos, and they have less like freedom because they're like, well, I actually can't do anything that might get me demonetized.
This was by 2010, 2011 was the turning point of when YouTube became like the adpocalypse, I believe, and monetizing and all that stuff, right? When the ad companies came in, that's when shit just, I think that's who's that what's the name of that organization that does all like the swearing shit for TV? What's their name?
Oh yeah,
right. F something F, or I can't remember.
Yeah, the FTC. No, that's
FTC, it might be them. It might be them. Yeah. But yeah, that's when that shit stepped in. It was over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I mean, on that subject, so like your channel's you've been growing for the last couple of months. You're at around 30,000 right now. What are you imagining? Like, where are you trying to bring the channel? What are you trying to do with it?
So I'm just trying to make it as big as possible as I possibly can with my own two hands. You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna basically drop my brand. I'm working on I'm working on the pants right now, the denim, and I've already made some of these hats, but they're kind of on the way. They're not completed yet, and I'm going to drop that. And because that's initially what I started YouTube for. Because like before YouTube, I had this like little brand that I was working with, and then I ended that because starting a brand without an audience is a really difficult thing to do, and I didn't understand. I was really late to Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat and all these things into like 2015. And then when I got it all, I saw it for what it was. People already had it, right? And I was getting like more hip to it at the time. And I would see people's brands, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how are these people popping? Like this? How is this working? And I couldn't figure it out for the longest time until like 3 years ago. Before I started my channel, I would see people on YouTube, and it would be people like Jacob Wallace, Fernando. It would be like Sanjeev, and a couple other Alex Avalos, right? And I would see all these things, and when I first saw it, I was like, this is all just to get paid on YouTube. And then I would really watch it, and I would notice that a lot of them had brands, and I was like, oh. I was like, I fucking get it now. So y'all,
captive audience.
guys, okay, so I gotta try this out. I gotta grind it out. If this works, it works. If it doesn't, then hey, I gave it a shot. You know, so yeah, that was like the mindset into it, and then that's kind of where I'm still going. And hopefully in the future, it can actually become a career instead of me, you know, spending 12 hours a day on a computer, just hoping and wish. Yeah, I wish, man.
Maybe if I keep going, if I never give up.
Yeah, well, what about you too? Because I mean, so this is if I were to just say this, and when I was you're around 6,000, right? 6,000, 7,000. Once you hit the 10,000, there's going to be more things that will click for you depending on how you run your channel. That's what I've noticed with a lot of people. And then it's going to get a little easier for you to figure out how to keep making that number jump a little bit, you know.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah. It's just, I think AO agrees with that too. And there's if you talk to other creators that have kind of reached far past that point, they'll probably say the same thing. But the 0 to the 10 is like, I'm still like, you know what I mean? Trying to like, I'm still throwing the wall a little bit here, you know. So
it kind of does feel like that sometimes. I think like what's kind of frustrating for me is I don't see like an exponential curve. You know, it's not like I'm getting followers and I'm getting more and more. It's like for a while, it's just been like I get X amount of followers a week or month or whatever. And it just kind of it's always like that. But my thought process is if I continue making videos, I'm going to get better at it. And eventually I'm going to make videos that are like so good that essentially the click-through rate is really high and people watch all of it. And I don't know, it's just like the kind of the Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours thing. I have to put in enough time in making these videos in order to make really good ones. And then hopefully the channel will grow, you know, proportionally. But, you know, sometimes it's hard to come up with like things that you think are really interesting and then make the time to make the video really good. How do you? I kind of asked this. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, what's been your best video so far?
I mean, my best video, like the one that has the most views, is like one of the second, third videos I've ever made because of SEO. I was talking about the Suey Coke sandals.
Oh, okay.
It may have been my third video, but people just constantly are searching that, and so because it's the oldest. Yeah.
People still searching for Suey Cokes, huh?
Yeah, apparently. Wow. So like my best videos right now are still, generally speaking, my oldest ones. And I'm kind of waiting. I'm kind of waiting for a new one to blow up, so to speak.
Yeah,
but it's up to me.
It's better. Again, I will in from what I can see, it's better to have the video creep to a higher view video than it is for it to be like in that first week you get 30,000. It's like, yeah, so a lot of things happen kind of, or just if I were to just kind of give an experience, like sometimes when they hit 30 or 40 within that first week or two, it's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
The reaction, you start getting, you get more people that see your channel that have never seen it before, all in one shot. And yeah, again, it's just better to have it a little slower, progressive. And what everyone's doing on here is that, yeah, we're making videos, but at the end of the day, we're creating some kind of community, right? Every channel is a certain community, whether the people stick around or not. But that's the goal of it. It's like you want to create a community of people that have like-minded, whatever to it.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, like, at least for me, I love making it and I love interacting with the people. So it's like that's kind of what has driven me. That's like my compass right now, is that like, well, if I enjoy this and I add value to people and more people seem to like it, then I imagine I could just continue and that it'll grow and grow.
Exactly.
But I don't know. I mean, like, I would love to make this my career as well. It's just a matter of figuring out how to grow the channel, how to monetize it.
Where do you live now?
What?
Where do you live now? Or if you don't want to just...
I'm in Minneapolis right now. I'm on the road, basically.
Because I see like some of your videos and like I'm like, where are you, dog? Like,
yeah. I mean,
where are you at, bro?
I was in Brooklyn for years, but during the pandemic, I bounced. I talked about it in one of my videos, but it was like in late March, I just had this feeling like, well, I'm already working from home and my girlfriend was already working from home. And it's like, let's just say, even if we're just locked down, it's like, we're in our small apartment, let's go somewhere else instead. And it was like, it was really a good thing that we left, because it was right before things got...
Honestly, I don't know, people, I think in fashion or whatever it is, like being on the internet with this stuff, with clothing and stuff, people feel as if they need to be in bigger cities, bruh. Like, you don't. Even the people in bigger cities don't even go out anyway. Like,
yeah.
Like, sometimes... Soho, it's like, no, all the tourists are in Soho, man. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's I've been kind of realizing that more, like, this last couple of months, because I'm like, I don't know. I will probably return to New York City at some point, but with a purpose. That's how I'm seeing it, because I was there because I'm like, I have to work in fashion, so I have to be in New York.
But everyone's here.
Yeah, but everybody's...
Yeah, I hate to be Gary V, but like, people are, and even when they're in the major cities, they're here.
Yeah,
they're not doing shit else. Like, if you know how to work this, then you can figure out the rest. You know what I mean?
And I feel like at the end of the day, really, the people who I'm interacting with or engaging with are people who I meet online, more than like making like big connections or friendships or whatever through like the work I had in New York. It was just different. I don't know. You got to work to your strengths. You got to do whatever is adding value to people, and this is what I've been trying to do.
Just do it. Do what all the other YouTubers do when they make it. They move back. It's always like, even like Frugal. Not that he moved back, but he moved to New York, right? And then when Kais got big, he moved to LA. Like, bro, like all the bigger channels. If me or you even get that far, if we have the determination to get that far, but like, they always end up going to some major city at the end,
Well, I mean, if I had that money, if I had that kind of big YouTube money, then that would be a different story. I mean, like, I imagine a lot of influencers go to LA because I feel like there's like a lot of agencies there. So like their work just starts to revolve more around like partnerships or brand deals or whatever. And so like their agents are like, just live in LA and it'll be easier for me to send you to, party X, or do, meet with this photographer. Or I think that's a lot of it. But honestly, when it comes to making content, you don't have to be anywhere.
Yeah,
you should be somewhere, but
especially because all this like pandemic shit, and people ain't even going out. So
that's true. That is so true, dude. Let me try to ask you, like, what do you think about like super hyped streetwear brand or streetwear channels like Blazendary? What do you think about those channels and their content? Do you like admire it, or do you feel like it's just like a different style, or do you kind of feel like it's clickbait?
I give him the utmost credit. You know, you got to, especially if you got a channel. No matter how even people like Rice Gum, he's not a hype. I mean, he is a hype beast, but he's not. He doesn't make sneaker content.
No,
but
yeah.
I still give those type of channels, no matter what the case is, like credit for what they did. Because like, bruh, to break, you know, certain type of numbers per video. I mean, there's more than just you getting up on camera being excited. Way more than that. I mean, there's so much thought into it, even if it's cringe, especially if it's cringe. Actually, there's way more thought into this. So I give him the credit where it's at. Would I ever, you know, aspire to be that? No, definitely not. But and I also think that type of YouTube is fading. It's still here, but it's fading, and people are. I think the beginning of YouTube, like it was like PC culture didn't exist, right? It was just raw clips, like of just random shit. You know what I mean? People cussing and swearing all the goddamn time, and like you know, very homophobic videos and a whole bunch of stuff that they would never allow now, right? And then by the turn of let me think about this, 2000. But when sneaker culture went fucking nuts, I think this was like 2014 or something like that. By 2014, that's when all the cringy stuff came out, and people would get up on camera and do the vlogs and act like they'll get up in front of like, hey guys, what's up? And it's just like everybody, like, why is everybody doing that? It's like, you don't have to be excited. Like, and I think now people are realizing, and content creators are realizing, that it's not about your excitement, and it's about the value that you're bringing to whoever's watching the video. Like, I can give a fuck how excited you are. If I need to know if what your title, if you held true to your title of the video, right? Don't bullshit me. If I'm trying to learn how to put oil in my Honda, I don't need to learn about what kind of salad you made in the morning, bro. Get to the oil.
I need this info. Do you let that like dictate like what you're making for videos? Because like a lot of people, YouTube is the second largest search engine. A lot of people are looking for direct value. Like they're like, how to XYZ. Do you try making videos like that at all? Or is that even something you think about?
Yeah, absolutely. Every once in a while, you do like the how-tos. Like, how-to videos are still, I mean, as long as you can bring, as long as it's something of value and you deliver and it's truthful and it's not, you're not just doing it, you're not lying, right? As long as you do that, because I think, again, we revert back to the beginning of YouTube. Remember, if you ever go through some old YouTube videos that have been around for like 8-9 years, and it's something so stupid. It's like some guy with a camcorder he bought from Costco, and he's like, "This is how you make lemonade," and then like it's over 500,000 views, right?
Yeah,
because no one did it.
Yeah.
No one made that video, and that still exists today, but it's a more competitive, way more competitive thing, right? I mean, even you look at sneaker channels and fashion channels, sometimes they're like, how to find alternatives for Alix belts. And it's shopping on Amazon, you know, and the video does really well. So yeah, absolutely. I still mess with those videos for sure.
I mean, personally, I know that if I make a video that, like, I'm kind of thinking this has good SEO, people are going to be looking for this, it almost always performs relatively well. Like, it always gets more views, just because even though I want people to discover my other content and like jump on, I just know that the casual whoever, the dude who doesn't care really, is going to end up Googling that phrase and watch the video.
Yeah. Well, so, it also too, it has not. Sorry to cut you off. It has nothing to do with like subscriber count. It doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing subscriber counts are like the equivalent of when you go to Fairfax or like Soho, for example, in New York, and they, you know, certain hype brands have a line outside the door. It's kind of like they're comparing cocks, like who has the bigger dick. You know what I mean? Like, oh, your shop's not doing well because you ain't got a line outside. But like the hype product doesn't. You can make a living off of that, but it's like very temporary, right? It's not a longevity type of thing. Subscriber count all your views come from 70% of your views. I can almost guarantee it on your channel, on your analytics, on all analytics. 70% is not your subscribers.
Yeah.
70% is high, by the way, or low. The 70% is low. I think it's 10 to 20 is your subscriber count that actually watches your own content. So it doesn't, like, I support everyone that subscribes and I appreciate it. That's why I've never asked people to subscribe on my channel. I don't know if you've ever noticed. I've never asked anybody to like, and I've never asked anybody to subscribe because I don't care. If you're gonna come back, you're gonna come back.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the way to do it. And I know, like, the thing I internalized, like something I probably read where it's like, if you don't ask, nobody's going to do it. So you have to ask.
That too. Call to action. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What other kind of crazy questions did I have for you? I mean, like, what are you working on today? Is today just like your Sunday, like hanging out?
I usually just make videos, honestly.
Yeah.
I kill every Friday, Saturday, Sunday I have to do this, bro.
That's wild.
Like, I don't even have a life, to be honest. I mean, COVID, no one has a life anyway. But like when COVID hit, it was really no difference for me because I was already, I wasn't really, I don't like, if anyone ever meets my really good friends in the future somehow, some way, they'll tell you the same thing. They'll like beg me to go places, and because I just never go anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm usually like in a computer or on a computer, like doing something to potentially grow this. That's like where my head is at, you know?
I mean, I get that. Like, how do you schedule that kind of time? Do you like batch do you batch stuff in terms of like what you're going to film, and then you say like, oh, on this day I'm going to edit, or like on?
Yeah. That's why, you know, when people are like, bro, you've been wearing that same t-shirt for like the past 4 months. And it's like, no, I just filmed 7 videos in one shot and I had the same clothes on. Well, so here you are 6 months later and you're seeing the videos, man, like, or you're seeing the same outfit. So yeah, I try to my best to have as many ideas down as possible. And then film it all at once and then have enough to edit and just sit in front of the computer and hash it all out and then post it all, you know? Totally. And then sometimes like the thumbnail will come before all that. I'll make the thumbnail first before I even make the actual video. What about you?
Yeah, I've done that sometimes. I mean, it's been kind of tricky because I mean, frankly, I've just been kind of mobile right now. So like where I am changes, and and not only that, but like the work that I'm doing outside of YouTube isn't steady. So it's like, it really depends. But
what do you do for, well, I don't know if you want to say it, but what do you do for work? I don't even know.
And anybody watching, I'm actually going to release a video talking about my career. Okay. But right now I do freelance, and that's the long and short of it.
Got it.
But like my technique is like I'm constantly writing down ideas. Like I'll have like a running list of ideas, and to some degree I'll try to research things to like until I'm like, this is interesting enough to make it a video. But like other times it can be like I have an idea and I'm like, that would be fun. I'm just gonna work on this, and then I'll just like grind that entire thing out. I might do like batch recording stuff in the future. I guess the only reason that I'm not doing that so much is because I'm constantly like, I feel like every part can improve.
In that one video, you mean? Is that why?
Yeah, and I just feel like I'm gonna improve everything the more I do it. It's like the next time I even record, I'll feel like maybe I'm doing a better job at whatever I'm trying to do. So it really depends. I'm trying to figure out ways to make it more efficient because in the last couple of last 2 months, maybe my upload schedule's kind of been disrupted, and that's because of a million things. You know, I only have as much time as I have, but I think that
your because your video is a lot more analytical than,
They can be, yeah. I mean,
but I mean, just like especially your more recent stuff, like it's way more thought out than it is to it's definitely not like a pickups video. It's like, oh, this is what I got, right? Or something like that, right? So like what makes you do that compared to other stuff? Because I'm going to be honest, a lot of the analytical videos, they don't do so good all the time. It's just people don't really care, unless they really tune in and they want to hear that. But a lot of the times that people are just like,
Yeah, I mean, I like the truth is I try to think of like I am trying to constantly think like what is actually engaging? What is going to get a person to click? What is going to keep them entertained?
yeah,
And the reason that half of the time I'm doing stuff like that is probably just like I don't know, my preference or like just like the way my mind works. And I think to some degree any success I'll have on this platform will come from me like owning myself, like owning my personality and like working to my strengths and doing what only I could do. And I think it's a combination of like I think I can be humorous, I think it can be entertaining. So I should and can try to include that. And I think that to some degree I just like to think about things in that kind of essay way. And I don't know. I think that it, I truly do agree with this idea, this thought that sometimes if the video is just boring and it's like analytical, it's kind of like self-congratulating or like
yeah,
masturbation. It's just like, well, nobody really cares, but the video that I did on Virgil ripping off Walter Van Burtendonk. Like that was a video where I was like, I don't know if people are gonna like this. I'll put in the time to kind of think of an idea, and
yeah,
people resonate with it.
yeah,
For my channel's levels, like the fact that I got a few thousand views on it is successful for me, and I could tell looking at the analytics that people were watching it for longer,
yeah.
and um, so that is kind of rewarding to know like well people really liked this or at least my audience did like they liked the humor, they liked the kind of the ideas or the ways that I tried to approach it differently. But I mean like at the end of the day I think that like the future of my channel will be a lot more, or I hope so. It'll be a lot more focused on like there will be more focus on storytelling or like how you make a video or how you keep it more entertaining and like I don't know, like think about how people make TVs and movies.
Hmm.
Apply your idea or niche or fashion into a framework of being very entertaining. And
Yeah.
I'm just kind of working my way up there because resources, time, and just like my general knowledge of it. Where
The,
I,
the car salesman fashion thing that you did, that was lit. Fucking, I was talking to Alex Zavalas. He was like, "Bro, I love that shit," and I was like, "I know you did." I was like, Alex, that was like you, bro. Like,
yeah, I mean, it kind of was.
it was right because I don't know if you remember all Alex's old videos, right? He always does like a little bit of acting or whatever, and
Yeah, just a little like absurd.
yeah, yeah,
I don't. I mean, like legitimately, that was just like I was I had all these clothes that I need to get rid of. Like I'm like I gotta sell this stuff, and I also did that resale video, and I'm like, all right, let's just combine this. But it was coming down to the wire where I was gonna leave for Minnesota soon, and I'm like, I just gotta get rid of these clothes. So I'm just like, I don't know who sells things, car salesman, and then it kind of went from there. And I did film all of that at once. Like
did
that
it
was like a
sell or
thing.
what?
It sold. Yeah, I sold almost everything. So that's great. And I had some like old Dior pieces and I had like Acne Studios. Like I had nice pieces. I wasn't wearing them and it's like, well, what am I'm going to put this in a box and put it into a storage unit and I'm going to pay for storage for like stuff that I don't wear. And I'm like, forget it. I'm going to sell it. Then I'll have money in my pocket. Um
So how
so
did
it
where did your transition go from like, oh, I buy Supreme to now I'm buying like Dior and whatever?
I think it's like the reality is like I started to really I think like when I was in high school, I started to love fashion. I was reading like GQ and Esquire or whatever, and that was like kind of like the Renaissance, quote unquote, right around that time. And I was like, this is what's interesting to me. And at the same time, I started to learn about streetwear. And I think the truth of the matter is, I just have always kind of had like a general like love for all of this fashion stuff. Like, it
Mhm.
wasn't necessarily like music brought me into fashion, or
Mhm.
like a group of friends. It was just like, I love fashion and I'm just kind of participating like
Mhm.
everyone else. Um,
I think the
so
new, or go ahead, my bad. Go ahead.
yeah, those old pieces that I had were just kind of from the time when I was working in New York and I was doing like resale stuff, and I just started to collect some pieces when I had a good deal for them. Like I got a good price.
I'm noticing. I mean, there had already been a huge crossover between streetwear to like designer fashion from
Totally.
2015 all the way till now, and now I think it's no longer a transition anymore. And I think a lot of the newer kids are starting out with RAF. They're
Yeah,
starting out with what's another brand name? Craig Green. They're starting out
sure.
with ND and stuff like this, and all these brands I'm not even invested in, but they're because I'm noticing some of these channels, and if I do my homework on some of them, and even these meme pages, like a lot of those meme pages will tell you a lot about what's kind of going on too, right? A
Totally.
lot of them, they're not invested into streetwear, right? They're
No,
invested,
like it wasn't.
yeah, they're invested into like designer fashion, right? And buying into, and it's really I don't know how old you are, but like when I was younger, bro, we know kids was not, 17-year-olds were not into Dior. I mean, granted, Dior and Louis and YSL and Raf and all these other designer brands technically is streetwear, but nobody
Yeah.
wants to fucking say it. Okay, this is not the same designer fashion that we used to have in the 2000s. In the 2000s, you couldn't even walk in for a guy to buy something that didn't have pointy shoes. Like, it was
Yeah.
about, back then. It was like you buy a tux, a suit, a fucking a messenger bag that says Ferragamo on it. I'm not even
Yeah,
playing. Some
it was
loafers.
like it was a Tom Ford era. That like style was what was fashion for men.
Yeah, and now the shit has it's where the market is. These younger kids now, they want that stuff, but they want designer street. It's like hidden hidden streetwear designer fashion.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I mean,
It's
for
like, we're
me,
just repackaging this bitch for you, but the same shit, bro.
like, I didn't really get into the like avant-garde fashion until later, so to speak. Like, I started paying
Yeah,
attention to like high fashion, but like I didn't really get into like Rick Owens or like
there you go, Rig as well. Yeah,
Andy Millermeister or any of like the dark avant-garde until I kind of had already been paying attention to fashion and caring about it. So, and at that point I was like, even though this looks really weird, I kind of like it. And I
yeah,
felt like there was a natural transition for me to start appreciating that stuff. But it is interesting that there are younger kids right now where, for one, like fashion is becoming more acceptable for men to like. And
100,000%. Yeah,
1,000%,
yeah.
totally, it was totally different when I was in high school.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And they just it does feel like they're kind of just immediately like, oh, I'm gonna learn about who Raf Simons is, or who the Antwerp Six are, and it's like, that's cool, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I bet that my feeling is around a lot of this stuff, there's like a fetishization of being like an intellectual, essentially, like gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm projecting. I just imagine like
Oh,
these kids
you're
are probably thinking
1,000%.
that like,
Thou-
by being sophisticated and knowing all of the collections, I'm superior in fashion. And it's like,
And lo and behold, the people that act that way actually don't really have much of the collection at all.
okay,
They got like two pieces, and they're like,
yeah,
bro, like this season, da 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 da. I'm like, what, boy?
okay. I mean, like, I just like talk about things that legitimately I like to talk about whatever interesting to me. And I don't need anybody to come to my channel and think like I'm smart or whatever. Like, that's not what I'm going for. I want to entertain people and get people like engaged. And if you want to talk to me about this idea, like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if you made the video already. I think you should. I think you should make that. You should. You should make a video. It would kind of be on your channel, like your topic about like that what you just said, the fetishization.
Fetishization.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to turn. I mean, I don't want to turn people off. So, but
sometimes, hey, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm gonna put the idea out there for you.
yeah.
Oh shit.
What else is going on? I appreciate it again. I don't want to like waste too much of your time because
Nah, dude, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I think the part where you said you don't want to piss people off, like, I think doing YouTube and stuff, regardless, me and you piss people. If you are a YouTuber,
yeah,
you piss people off.
and it's like, where did you even come from? How did you find this video? Why are you so angry? Is like my reaction half of the time.
Yeah,
because like,
but after you get over that hump, it's like for me right now, I don't care. I will talk about you, and I don't care. I don't fuck. I will meme you. Anybody who is next, you're gonna get memed. It only takes me 10 minutes to make a meme.
Yeah, get ready. I mean, you gotta have a thick skin. You gotta be like, I mean, going into this, you know, I had never like really put myself on the internet, and so I was shy. I was afraid, you know, but I was already at a point in my life where I wasn't embarrassed of like being bullied or being judged or whatever, and that's like important because it's like there are so many trolls on the internet. There's so many like whack jobs that will come off like, I don't know, like they're superior and they understand something. And it's like, I really doubt it because like I work with people in fashion who know a lot and they never come off like I'm superior and you don't know the first thing.
Yeah, it's just like, they're trolls, really.
Yeah. I don't know what else.
I was just about to say something. I totally forgot what it was. Oh, I was gonna say that even though I make these memes and do these starter kit videos, at the end of it, I always try my best to let people know that, like, bro, like, it's clothing, and you should not be like this, like that invested to get hurt over this shit. Because no matter what category you're in, you can get made fun of. I don't give a fuck what category. In my category, especially, I'm stuck in the 2000s, right? And you talk about the CCP people, they can get roasted. Everybody can get roasted, right? And it's all fun and games. As long the goal of it is, as long as you realize what you have on and why, and the reasons why you bought what you have on, then it's fine. But if you can't come to realization and you point the finger back, it's just like, all right, man, like, that's why I'm memeing you.
I mean, I feel like I was just bullied so much as a kid that at this, like, now that I'm an adult and I'm making YouTube videos, I'm like, I know who I am. I know why I am wearing clothes. Like, I know what my story is or why I'm interested in this. So I just like, I'm detached from getting that worked up, you know? And I also know that like my opinions will change about a million things. It's just the nature of like being alive.
What do you deem your like style to be?
I don't know. I mean, right now, since the pandemic, I guess my style is like practical clothes in like straight fits. Like my pants are usually like a straight cut, or like my tops are usually like just a little wider and boxy. I'm not really that tall, so like if something's kind of wider, it just makes it's more flattering on me. I wear a lot of clothing that I think is like kind of Americana or like American inspired, but it's like pared down and I don't know, like meant for like work, meant for like
what kind of brands are you buying into, or are you not even?
Like I've got a pair of like I don't know, it's not vintage, but like old Ralph Lauren like patchwork jeans. I love these. This is like Los Angeles Apparel, which is like the guy who did American Apparel. It's like a
I know
that. The brands like I said in the past, I would kind of just buy any like designer brands that I felt like I could and maybe get away with. So like I have like I the stuff I sold recently, like I had a Me Paris, I had like Pleasures, like that streetwear brand Pleasures. I had Acne Studios. I do really love Acne. Acne is kind of like one of the high fashion brands that I love. I love what they do. I would wear any of their pieces. But like the brands that I own right now, it's just like it's really like any designer piece that I'm like, I had to hold on to this, but I'm not gonna wear it. I put it in storage. Like I have some Rick stuff in storage and so like comb pieces that I'm just not wearing right now. And there's no point in me wearing like a crazy like outfit for my girlfriend. You know, like one day I'm gonna get those pieces back and I'm gonna wear them more. But you know, I mean, I've since college I've been a huge fan of Rick. I love Rick. I've had his pieces. I've sold them and bought new ones. It's kind of interesting to see kind of a resurgence of people really caring about Rick again. And I'm like, sure, that's cool. And like the silhouette that he designs is kind of different now. Like his shoes are kind of different. His clothes are a little bit different. It's not exactly what the look was when I really started to get into them, but I think that's super cool. Right now, I think to some degree, just because I'm trying to focus on YouTube and just because I'm kind of trying to focus on my life, fashion, I don't want to say it's taking a backseat because I care about what I wear, but it's just like buying designer pieces, buying the next piece is not what I'm thinking about right now. I'm just like, I need to save my money and I need to think about if I'm going to spend anything, it's probably going to be related to this. So like, I'm just not really picking up the only like the last pickup I made was not even my girlfriend bought it for me. It was for my birthday. It was what's the name of that brand? It was a guy who used to design for Yves Saint Laurent like years ago. And it's like only available on Essence. So it's like it's a designer brand. I really wanted a new trench coat. She got it for me, and that's like the only pickup I've made in like 2 months, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that right now. My wardrobe can develop very slowly right now. Only the pieces that I'm like, I would really like this. Otherwise, like all my shoes get resold. I just wear what I'm comfortable in right now. And once I get rich from YouTube, that'll be a different story.
Cash out all Rick, bro.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
You'll be a Rick meme.
I'll love that. I can't wait to be a Rick meme.
I'm always curious where these people that buy all this crazy ass. I mean, not all Rick pieces are insane, but like the
eccentric ones.
Yeah, like where do y'all wear this, man? Like I've never seen it in person. Maybe because I'm not in a fashion city. Maybe in LA, I guess. I don't know, but bro, I never seen that. I've been to LA.
Yeah.
I never seen that.
I've only been to LA once, and I specifically asked my friends, I'm like, so where are like fashionable people? Where do you see them? I didn't see a lot of fashion. I don't know if that's just because it's like kind of a city you drive around in, and it's like a totally different vibe. But then I went to a party later when I was there, and I saw some like fashionable people.
Yeah.
In New York, you'll see some wild outfits. At least I used to, especially depending on what neighborhood you're in. Just because you have to walk or take the subway everywhere, and there's a lot of communities that are. It's almost like a challenge to see who can be the weirdest, who can wear the most eccentric, bizarre clothing. And I thought that was cool. I think it's really cool to see that because it's just like they're taking it to like the highest level. But it's kind of hard. A lot of Rick's pieces are
like head to toe Rick though.
Yeah, if you're walking around near the Rick store, or like just different places, like different parts of Manhattan or Brooklyn, you will see people in head to toe Rick for sure. But
that's where I find it pretty interesting for some of these people that buy all this stuff too. It's like I have the feeling you would not be buying this if Instagram didn't exist. Because like if you don't wear it in public and you just do it for the gram, like you do it for a fit pic or whatever, like with nothing wrong with that, it is what it is, especially if you're getting paid. But like if this social media thing wasn't a thing, then I don't know how many people would be so invested into these crazy like next level avant-garde, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like people talking about CCP so much was really surprising to me because that was like, I feel like I learned about that brand because of this store called Atelier in New York, and it used to be like the only place that you could find like dark avant-garde. And like I think I learned about it through that and like Style Zeitgeist, which was a blog. It's still a blog. And the
Mhm.
fact that it's kind of like commonplace for like a meme on Instagram now is like, oh, so everybody knows about it? Okay.
I think
Good.
some rappers started wearing it,
I bet.
and
I'm sure that's the.
yeah,
I
I
don't
think like
know.
Tekka or something like that, or some rapper put CCP on it. All the meme pages went nuts.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, we have content. Post it now. Post it
Yeah.
now.
I mean, like fashion wankers. Like when I spoke to him, he was like really. His biggest thing was like he feels like it's just kind of a competition around everybody making the same content, and that was burning him out. And like it makes sense to me. Like
Meme stuff.
yeah, it
Oh,
just
that's
felt like
right. Has he been posting? He
I
hasn't,
think
right?
so. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like he is.
Unless I don't.
On IG, yeah. Like maybe he's not posting as much.
He is, but it's not really. Okay, yeah, it is. Never mind. Yeah, I guess my algorithm hasn't helped at all. Shit, I
Mm-mm.
haven't seen any of his posts. He was the first meme page I ever found.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
one of the OGs apparently. What was that?
Did he make a YouTube channel?
He's going to. So like that was one of the things he talked to me about like 2 or 3 months ago. And I think he's been hesitant, but he said he's going to soon. So
Yeah,
stay.
that seems to be the all like they're all doing it.
That's the move.
Yeah, they're all realizing they probably should have put their efforts on YouTube first.
I mean, as long as people watch your stuff, you can get money. You know what? I just need them in my corner so that then they'll bring traffic to me. That's all that matters.
So are there any brands for you that you just wouldn't you just don't you don't even you don't understand it, you don't get it, you would never buy it?
Philip Klein. I would never buy that. I mean, is that a joke? I guess. I just would never. You have to be like, you have to be high.
I'm not disagreeing, bro. I'm not disagreeing. I was in Asia. He has stores in Asia, man. That guy's got big
He's like,
ass stores in Asia, like right next to Off White and fucking they have Yeezy stores in Asia too. I don't know how they have that.
really?
Yeah, they got really they got a way different market out there. But they got like a Philip Klein, they got fucking Ed Hardy and like Louis and Yves Saint Laurent right all next to each other. And Philip Klein's store was like the biggest one, and it was like the most lavish shit ever.
Yeah.
It was like all marble, and he had a rhinestone skull in the middle of the store. I can't lie, it was like for what it was, and like the presentation is going crazy, but the clothes in there, I can't.
No way. It's just like, there's so much stuff that he makes that's so ludicrously expensive, and it's like, oh my god. You know, it's like it's the kind of thing that only it's made for Russian oligarchs, I feel like. Honestly. And it's like that is his target demo.
The fact that he modeled his own clothes. Did you see that? And then
yeah,
it was like every piece. It was just the whole. If you scroll the whole thing, it was just all him. I'm like, bro, like.
It's hard. I guess he's smart. It's his own business. You know, like he has no partners. This is all the money is going to him. So that's smart, but it's just like if anybody was
making his bag in Asia, because I've never seen anyone wear Philip Klein here ever. Have you?
I've seen it like once or twice.
I've never ever. I think he really is getting his bag in Asia because Asia doesn't know what cringe is for him, right? And it's a completely open market. He can just show it to them, and they're like, "Oh, cool, this is expensive shit. I'll buy it." You know, they got money over there.
I mean, like I said the Russia thing, but I think he actually does really well in that country, and I think there's an element of it where it's aspirational, and it's like feeding into people who basically not non-American, like you're not in America where there's all this like, you know, like all these levels. If you're like in a country that is quote unquote was developing or whatever, and you got super rich. I think that's where Philip Plein really fits in, because it just kind of like, it looks like, oh, look at my expensive clothes.
Yeah.
It really sells that idea.
Yeah.
So I think that might have something to do with it.
It's almost as if Ed Hardy, like, not evolved, but
yeah,
got
kind of like that.
Kind of, because like all the rhinestone stuff and like how lavish it kind of is, but edgy, like edgy at the same time. It kind of has that same feel to it.
Totally.
So in the comments, I wouldn't buy Off-White either. I don't agree with that one. I would buy it.
I mean,
I would
it's like
I would buy all the stuff that happened prior to Off-White being sold to Farfetch.
Yeah.
Because I think since that happened and probably a little bit before that, Virgil doesn't even design the stuff. He doesn't design it. He doesn't. He probably calls some shots and that's pretty much it. But once that shit was sold, I think he has a team of like 50 designers that just shit all fucking day like a conveyor belt,
Yeah.
But all the stuff prior, I actually kind of like some of that stuff. I mean, it sounds cringe now, but 10 years from now, it's not going to be for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a reality. I think that if there were pieces that I would wear, it would probably be, I mean, you could probably like argue like, oh, well, he stole those ideas. And it's like, well, I guess that's why it looks all right to me, because he stole it from a designer I like. I mean, if I'm not going to buy that stuff retail, but if somebody was going to,
not at retail. Fuck that. No, that shit.
There's like some universe where I got a piece that wasn't like, I don't know, too over the top.
This is the thing, the whole controversy of the whole copying. There's a lot of shit that Virgil has done that is not part of the controversy at all.
Yeah.
Like 90% of it. There's like a 10% of it that is like, it for sure is an inspiration. But if you think about it, and I'm not defending the guy, but it might sound like I am, but if you think about it, and I come from the streetwear shit, streetwear fucking bites all day.
Yeah.
Right? We came, like, the streetwear came up from looking up to designer brands, and they understood that their market is not going to buy designer, but they'll buy their brand that looks like designer, right? Or it has like a street, I guess you can say urban aspect to it, but yet it's like flipping logos, right?
Totally.
Like I made this hat a long time ago. The original logo is a World Series logo.
Sure.
Obviously, I did not create the logo. I redrew it and I did my own thing on Illustrator. Like you have to, right? And I put my own words on it and I had to make the spacing correctly. But other than that, it's a flipped. It's taking your shit, flipping it, and creating a new fucking idea, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like what Virgil says about like he changes a design by 2%, and that's basically what he does.
Yeah.
And I think that there's something really interesting about that idea, and I think that I don't know, I genuinely do feel like his greatest strength is in like not publicity, but in kind of connections or being able to kind of pull enough people into his universe to get more people involved. It's not necessarily a bad trait. It's not necessarily like the worst thing in the world. It's probably something that every successful designer or artist or whatever needs to have to some degree. And that's just his one like greatest strength. Yeah. And I think that that's what he's done in a lot of ways.
That, it's the consumers or potential consumers are pointing the finger at him when the finger is not being pointed back at themselves too, because it's one of those situations where, and this happens all the time in streetwear and maybe even designer fashion too, but in streetwear, it always happens where sometimes the consumer fucks up the brand.
Yeah.
They fuck it up. It's kind of like the people that like Bape right now. Like, I don't know if you buy into Bape or anything like that or have, but or know anything.
I mean, I follow it kind of casually. Like I'm familiar.
So like the Bape we have now is the newer Bape, right? And the consumer that keeps the new Bape alive, like the economy or the finances that keep Bape alive now, are the people that just ran into money, and they've always seen Bape, and they're like, "Fuck, I gotta go to the Bape. I'm going to the Bape store. I'm cashing the fuck out, and I'm gonna be fly as fuck with all this Bape on." Right? And there's a tasteful way to do it, But obviously, when you get all that money, you don't give a fuck about that, right? So you walk out the store, shark on your crotch, shark on your shark on your shark on your bag, cameled the fuck out, 4 different camels on, like bitch, I'm big, right? So like that image, that's not how the models dress in the they don't give you a lookbook like that. Not always. Sometimes they do, not always. But the fact that that happens, that is a huge like everybody's a walking billboard, right? And the same thing happened with Off-White. Off-White got right after after he did the 10 with the complex shit, and then did the shit with Nike. He was friends with Kanye for so long, right? All that history, all combined in one. Consumers just went fucking nuts. And put the shit on, and it flooded Instagram. It was for clicks and likes. It became an influencer brand. But why did it become an influencer brand? Because it's a double-edged sword. He's supplying it, but at the same time, consumers are wearing it in this certain way. It makes it gives this perceived perception that holy shit, this shit is a hype beast brand.
Yeah, because I honestly, I think that he's really smart at being able to create moments like that.
Absolutely.
And I think the 10 is arguably probably his best design moment, just because it takes that philosophy. He's like, if I change this 2%, is it totally different? And he did it with, you know, iconic silhouettes, these different, you know, sneakers. And it's like, people are like, yeah, I love this. It's nostalgic, but it's new. I think that was kind of I personally, I think he's his best moment so far.
I think the 10 was his best moment. For him to keep pushing Helvetica font was his not best moment, but one of his best ideas. I think him doing the whole stripes on the back, I don't know, you call them stripes or the construction.
Construction.
That was a brilliant idea as well. And this is, people forgot, but before he started making that, it was still the minimalism, right?
Yeah, totally.
Minimalist, right? I wear elongated t-shirts and drink my matcha coffee with nothing on my desk. That was what was going on. And he came in and he was like, nah, like it felt as if he was doing it, creating larger logos on clothing because you get more bang for your buck, right? You spend all this money on clothes, and it's like, well, I kind of do want to represent your brand at the same time. I want to wear it without it says Off-White. So he, you know, did that thing. And quite honestly, as an idea to create some kind of pattern, because like, you know, Bape has the Bape camo, LV has the monogram, right? To fit in that and design something that, or come up with something off the top of your head that can fit in that mold without it looking stupid, is not an easy thing to do. I've tried to make a pattern before, like a design bro, holy shit, you'll spend a decade trying to do that shit. Right? But, you know,
at the end of the day, that's probably the first video I ever made about Virgil was like saying like, well, he's got to be doing something right. He's got to be. He's, regardless of what you guys think about him.
Absolutely.
I feel like to some extent he is performing at some high level of some skill in order to have the position that he does, and he is. You know, we can continue to criticize him as a designer or when he rips people off, but that doesn't mean I think that he doesn't do anything right. Like, he doesn't have a unique skill. Maybe it's just the times have elevated that kind of skill, but it is a skill nonetheless. And like being understand like marketing and like that, you know, that brand identity concept, and saying like, I'm just going to exploit that. Well, that's what happens. He was right, and he cashed in.
Yeah. Incredible marketer. He's incredible. And also there's nobody pushing and doing as many things as he's doing.
He does seem like he's super busy.
This many collaborations, this many brands, linking up this many people, this many contracts. Now he's with LV. How do you have enough time in a day? I'm trying to pump out 4 videos a week.
Yeah.
With a job. Like, you got like 9 jobs on your table. Like, how, bruh?
I sometimes worry. I'm like, do I not have that thing? Do I not have that quality? Just like
that thing.
I pray to God not. I hope that one day I'm like a Virgil of some sort, where I'm just like, crushing it, basically.
No, not to go too long on this, because I know people are. I'm sick of the conversation too.
Yeah.
Like everybody that does like makes a mark, and like especially in streetwear or fashion, and becomes really popular, becomes overwashed. They always get hated, whether it's because of his reasons. They're like, "Oh, you're copying, blah 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 blah. Oh, you can't design. This shit is trash. This shit is bad, bruh." Every brand had goddamn went through this shit. There was a time people were like, "We're off Louis because the shit is weak." Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sick of the monogram. We don't want to wear the belts anymore. We don't want the luggage. Now, shit, right? It just comes in cycles. Even when Nigo first came out with Bape, do you know how much hate Bape got in the beginning? I mean, it still gets hate now, right? In the beginning, though, people are like, "What are you wearing? You look like little kids wearing fucking cotton candy hoodies and this, bruh."
Yeah, exactly.
Loyal, solid fans there are of the old shit. They don't even want the new shit, which is me.
Yeah, now that's like elevated. Like that was like
now
era.
You look at any archive page, they post nothing but Pharrell, Nigo, I guess Virgil shit, Kanye, ASAP.
Yeah.
And, like Nigo is in there.
Yeah.
Nigo, you cannot not put Nigo in the list.
Yeah, the designer. He's not an entertainer.
Yeah, and he got so much hate, and so much hate, and even today he still gets hate too. But he's now to another level where people are like, whatever, because I think so much time passes. So I'm just saying this now. Give Virgil another 10 years when he's done. Maybe he's not going to be done. I don't know. But when 10 years from now, 15 years from now, people are going to look back and be like, "Bro, do you remember?"
I mean,
with the construction line shit. Bro, you don't remember the 10, bro? The 10.
I totally agree. I think that people, for whatever reason, they're like, I hate this, or like in the time they hate it, but then they'll be nostalgic for it, and it's like, you know what? You just got to keep an open mind all the time. Then you got to recognize that, like, you just need to give yourself more time to make decisions. I hate to do this. I do have to go.
Oh no, it's all good.
And like, it's my fault that we can't keep going because I started this late. But first off, thank you everybody for watching. I love you guys. I'm sorry if I haven't been looking enough at the comments. Keezy, do you want to like say anything or make some kind of?
We'll do this again sometime. We'll do this
totally.
Again.
I'm around, But thank you again, dude. I really
say Pacific Standard Time this time.
Yeah. Like, let's just choose one so we don't like. I'm saying Eastern Standard Time, and I'm not even there right now, so I'm an idiot. All right. Take it easy, dude. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll catch you later.
Peace.
All right.